Those of you interested in how we create these vodcasts, I actually use iMovie. And so let's take a look at how we created last month's, June's, vodcast. Now, don't be upset if you're a Windows user. You can do the exact same thing in Movie Maker, which is provided free from Microsoft. So here we have the iMovie screen, and in the lower right hand corner are still images that we can use in our movie. In the upper left hand corner are video clips. Now we're not going to use that this month, but we will in future months. And then in the left hand column there, you see that we have the actual recording. And as it moves across the timeline, you can see the images that I included, and underneath in the green is the recording. Now the little symbols between the images are called transitions, and basically I try to stay with the same transition, unless there's a reason to change. Try to stay with the same transition from one segment to another. And so you can scroll all the way down here and see our complete recording from June. Now, let's say we wanted to add something else. I simply go over to where my still images are and drag them into the timeline. So now I've added another picture. I click on the transition icon, select a transition. Again, I like to stick with the same one if I'm doing this for real. And now, simply dragging over that transition, the transition appears between the images. Now we're just adding on extra stuff at the end here so you can see how it's done. I can also determine how much of the picture to show. I can show the entire picture by clicking on Fit. I can crop it, or I can use what's known as a Ken Burns effect. What Ken Burns created, he did a movie on the Civil War using all still images. You can decide, I'm going to start showing this part of the still image and move, and there you go, to another frame, not frame, but part of the image. So it makes it look like there is motion there, even though it is a still image, and that is known as a Ken Burns effect. The green outline shows the start, the red outline shows the finish. Now the next step is, once I dragged over all the still images that I wanted to use, I had to select voiceover. So I selected my external microphone to use. I tested the sound, and then all I needed to do was click in the timeline where I wanted to start the narration. Now there are certain options here I was pointing to. I can enhance my voice, which I choose to do, or I can play the project while I'm recording. I do that sometimes depending upon what I'm recording. Sometimes I prefer not to see what's being shown. I'm also showing you additional menu items here that you can select, including the ability to export, which I needed to do, into a QuickTime format.